Hi guys, it's a beautiful day here in Northern Virginia, and today we are visiting the Cedar Run Cemetery. Cedar Run was put in here in 1941. We're right outside Quantico Marine Base, and in 1941 Quantico, actually the government, bought 50,000 acres of land here in Northern Virginia, and inside that 50,000 acres, of course, were many cemeteries and little churches and things like that. And what they did was they reinterred the bodies to two different cemeteries, one on each side of the base. This is Cedar Run, and unfortunately, due to the segregation of the era, all the white folks were moved here to Cedar Run, and all the black and other colored folks were moved to Carver Cemetery, which is on the far side of the base. So today we're at Cedar Run. Eventually I hope to get to Carver, and we'll visit that as well. But many of the folks that are here were reinterred from a little church called Chopawamsic. I believe it was a Baptist church, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, we're just going to walk around and take a look at this cemetery today, see what we see. It's my understanding that the oldest burial in here is from 1820. So we hope to find that stone. All right. So let's take a look, see what we find. All right, so the first row, if we take a look, take a glance, we can see, all right, most of the reinterments are kind of along this left side. There's a few back over the hill there behind my car, and we will get to those. But many of these are unreadable, but as well, many of them are completely readable. So very interesting that they came from different cemeteries all over that 50,000 acres I mentioned. This one's totally readable, from 1910. All right, asleep in Jesus, blessed sleep from which none ever wake to weep. Interesting quote there. Let's see. Charles Allegar, born December 9, 1882, killed on PB and WRR as brakeman near Baltimore, Maryland, December 30th. That looks like 1905. Gone but not forgotten. So he was a brakeman on one of the railroads in Maryland, it looks like. But, all right, moving on here. Now let's go to this one, it's a little closer. Charles Dusson, died 1925. Dodson. This looks like a family there. There's multiple names. Some of them are unreadable. This one I see definite pattern, very cool looking pattern there. Down at the very bottom I see an 1953. March 1953, but I cannot read a name on that at all. Botts, B-O-T-T-S, it looks like I see, but I can't read this. The break in the thing looks like it's gone through the name there. We can't see if I can get down low enough to even see that.
I can't read it.
I can't get down low enough to read it, but I'll look at the video later. Here's one I can't read. Obviously fairly old. Let's move down here to we're going to kind of walk across the row here. All right. Let's go back. I know there's some Confederate soldiers in here. I've seen the CSA grave markers and also some rebel flags here, some Confederate flags. Let's actually kind of walk up here and we'll come back through here. So up here, someone at some point came through here with iron and reinforced some of the broken stones, as you can see there. Okay. That one is very hard to read, it's very faint. Shandes, S-H-A-N-D-E-S. No, hard to see. This one here has fallen over. That's from 1925. You can see that date there. Really is a shame that these get kicked over and broken over the years. This one is Harriet Embry from 1923. All right, we have, looks like Arrington Robert Lee, 1838 to 1916, and I'm going to assume that's his wife, Mary Eleanor, 1846 to 1913. So here's one of our CSAs right here. All right, let's see, can I read that name at all? I can read Company A. Well, I just can't read that name. Can't read the name. This one's been brushed off a little bit. Isabel, daughter of R.E. and Ella Stark, November 8, 1884. So, little girl. The stone is sinking into the ground. R. Frank Stark, 1856 to 1936, and wife Ella Herndon Stark, 1859 to 1932. And William Ashton Clow, or Chloe, husband of Bessie Lee Pittman, December 1872 to September 30, 1925. Moving to the next row. And it's been knocked over here. Josie M. Chloe, 1861 to 1941. Father William Shepard Chloe, 1833 to 1919. And this says Mother Hannah Kate Stark Chloe, 1842 to 1884. This one's been broken at some point. Cassius Edwin. Oh boy. I can read an 1871. And that's either 1871 or 19... Oh, it must be 1871 because I see infant daughter right below that. All right. Amy J., and I cannot read the last name, but it looks like May 1933 is the death date. And this one, of course, at some point has been broken. You can see the iron reinforcing it. We have another CSA here. This is Joseph Stark, Company A, 9 Virginia, or 9 VA GAV. CSA at the bottom there. I don't see any dates on that, interestingly enough. Reuben Abel, 1872 to 1947. Elizabeth Abel, 1871 to 1936. Sophia Abel, 1849 to 1931. Have an American flag here. This might be a Union soldier, corporal. And I'll be doggone if I can read any of the rest of that. Maybe you can in the video. But that is impossible to make out here. Mildred Keys, October 1849 to August, it looks like in 1921 or 31 possibly. You can only make out Ernest on that, Ernest. This one here, wow, look at this. That is really hard to read. Let's see. See if anybody on the video world can make this out. I can see that it's been etched, but boy, you just can't make out any of those words at all. There's a lot of words here. This looks like some sort of a statement or a saying, quotation or something. This one has died December 1914. Can't read a name. Once again, we have several stones just knocked over here. One that is even reinforced with iron here has just been kicked over. This is William Bridwell, May 1868 to March 1932. That looks like Elijah, but I cannot read the last name. Died 1913. Elijah Abel, 1833-1896. Hawken Abel, 1875 to 1939. Zephyr Abel, 1875 to 1966. 68, I'm sorry, 68. What do we got here? Grant Abel, June 1905 to June 1976. Looks like we may have another CSA up here. Let's see, can I make this one out? Nelson Tolson, Shacklet, born 1855 or 58, and died 1902. I can make out the word baby, B-A-B-Y there, the second word. The first word, I'm not sure what that says. Could that say fur baby? That would be an odd phrase for so far back. I know we've heard that recently in more recent times, fur babies. Husband and wife, Tolson, James Tolson and Ann Tolson. Looks like we have a 1700 birth, 1790 something to 18. Boy, really, really hard to make out there. Same thing with hers, Ann Tolson. Looks like 1827 to 18, maybe 97. Shame to see this knocked over. Virginia, wife of H.M. Tolson, 1855 to 1926. And then here is the husband, H.M. or Herbert M. Tolson, husband of Virginia Page Tolson, 1856 to 1936. And I did see some more Tolsons over here. There's a lot of Tolsons in here. Probably all from a family cemetery that was in inside those acres that the government bought. This one has broken off and has sunk into the ground. I can't even read the upper half of that. Might have some more Confederate soldiers there, possibly. Elizabeth Fairfax Botts Tolson, beloved wife of Daniel Tolson, daughter of Sophia Fairfax and William Botts, granddaughter of Lord Fairfax. Born 1843, died 1902. Completely unreadable there. Another one that's been iron reinforced. Might be able to read this one. Oh boy. Monimi? No. It's a Tolson. I can see Tolson last name. Born 1887, died. I can't even read that. The break goes right through the death date there. That makes it very hard to read. Tolson Cooper, 1869 to 1898. John Robert Cooper, 1860 to 1906. Well, those are really nice, very, very easily read. Those must be much newer stones. Then maybe they were replaced at some point. This one looks pretty old, but boy, I don't think we're going to read that today. I might need to bring a water spray bottle with me. Maybe spraying those down might make the words kind of jump out a little bit. And we have a Confederate flag here, Susan Embry, September 7, 1847, February 8, 1929. She's safe at home. I don't think that flag may be in the wrong place. That doesn't seem to be a Confederate soldier there, not for a she, unless she was one of those that we have read about that disguised themselves as a man. Daniel Tolson, 1934. That looks like 1920 for a death date, but Raymond Tolson, perhaps. More Tolsons here. These are a little bit newer, 1937 and 38. Husband and wife, George and Georgia. They were a cute couple, huh? Virginia Bridwell, 1871 to 1920. All right, here we go. Raleigh L. Cooper, captain in the CSA, 1832 to 1892, and his wife Mary DeShields, 1832 to 1913. All right, so we have one out here kind of all by itself. Let's see, can we read this at all? Unfortunately, I cannot read that at all out here in the sunlight. I don't know if you can read that on the video or not, but make sure to go up and down it here a couple times so people can get a chance to try and figure that one out. All right, so I read online, I believe this is the newest burial right here. Laura Elaine Brundage, buried October 31, 2018. So that is the newest. And there's a pile of dirt here behind me that is obviously from this burial. And we have a very nice looking family memorial set up here with a bench, a granite or marble bench, and a nice stone here with the photographs on it. So Rebecca Kathleen with a birth date, and she's barely a year and a half older than I am, but she is obviously still living. Over here is her husband, Gerald Willard, and he died in 2012, and they were married June 24th, 1989. So obviously she is still with us, and she probably set this bench here to come out here and sit with her husband at times. And, Joyce Wedding, born and died October 4th, 1939, the day of her birth. Just an infant, newborn. We have here, looks like William Murray, 1866 to 1937. I can just barely make that out. Max Murray, 1938, aged 48 years, at rest. And over here we have a stone that has sunk right into the ground. Can't read that at all. Nope. All right, we're going to kind of move through here. I'm going to kind of bypass some of these. Let's take a quick look through here while I'm walking this way. "1968" death there. Can I read that? This has a name and 2 dates. That's it. Name and 2 dates. I can see them, July and September, but I can't make the years out. Oh, it sucks getting old because your eyesight goes. It really does. Oh, these are good. These are actually marked. Wellington Pearson, 1820 to 1883, moved from Stafford Store Cemetery. Mary Tolson Pearson, 1835 to 1929, moved from Stafford Store Cemetery. So these were marked that they will move. That's good. I'm glad they did that. One that's kind of fallen over a little bit. Try to get down to that. I can't read it from here. All right. Got some that are in disrepair over here. That one's been broken and fixed. Looks like more than once, perhaps. Iron wrapping the base of that one right there. Very hard to read. King George and Dorothy. It looks like he was a CSA soldier. Right there, George was. Died in 1914. Let's try to see these over here. Looks like a wooden cross here. You don't usually see those anymore. In the graveyard in the cemetery. Tiny little stone, and it kind of looks like August 1900 something to July 1900 something. So this was probably a very small child that did not live long, maybe a year, maybe 2. And over here we have a wooden cross. Look at that. Really interesting. And it's got a CSA wing right there. Look at that. Obviously, that's a more modern ring that someone has stuck on here. That looks like something Tolson, another Tolson here that was a CSA soldier. But a wooden cross, that's pretty unbelievable. Look at that. And that isn't new. That's been here a while. It's even held up by rebar down there at the bottom. You can see that. All right, we're going to move towards the middle and back sections here. The Heflins and Arnolds over there. Kind of looks like a newer section. What do we got here? Edgar Smith Moore. June 1947, died October 19th. That must be 1899. Yeah, log at the top of the stone. Let's see here. There's another wooden cross. Look at that. These are newer stones though. All right, 1984. 1983, 1997, corporal in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. (1938). That stone is in really good shape for 1938 too. Look at that. 43, 31. John the Yodeler. Died 2011. Audrey Heflin, who it seems is still with us. All right. 3rd, 1951. Can I read that? Can I read this? Let's see. Let me read this. If tears could, and then it's broken here. Stairway and a lane, I'd walk to heaven and bring you home again. So, can't read the whole thing because of the breaks, but did the best I could there. Ronald Heflin, Marine Corps, 1945 to 1989. Let's see. Died 1906. I have a whole series of old stones here. Although they don't look as old as some of that one. I see it died 1920, but it looks hand carved. Like it was hand scratched into the stone here. Looks like many of these are the same. I bet these came from the same cemetery out there in the what is now Quantico Marine Base. There's another Heflin, born 1905. It looks like the death date is buried below ground level. Can't see that. All right, let's see. What do we got? This one's almost washed flat. It says Thorpe, T-H-O-R-P, but I cannot read anything else below that. So there's the back of the cemetery back there. We got another couple of Confederate flags flying over there. There's a one stone way back there that really looks pretty old by the design of it. 1924, 1947. Holy. 1961. 1951, Irvin Heflin. So lots of Heflins and Tolsons in here. This one looks completely broken off. Let's see here. And that doesn't look like an old break either. That looks fairly new. The edges are jagged. Seems almost flat. There's like no writing at all on it. So I'm not sure what the significance is of that stone right there. James Duval, born April 18, it looks like 38, and died January 21, 1901 perhaps, or 07? 01. Mary Virginia Wedding, born December 27, 1849, and died August 27, 1906. So we have, looks like a Weedon family here. James Hood Weedon, born during the Civil War, November 24, 1864 to April 2nd, 1913. Here's our CSA guy. That looks like oh boy, what is that name? Milton Whedon? The first name though starts with a G-E something. This is really fuzzed out here. G-E-D Milton. That's Milton Whedon. But this right here I cannot read. Born 1840 and died 1902. And that's obviously been broken.
Get a Milton.
Get it?
GED. Good.
Could be. Virginia C., wife of G. Milton Weedon, died 1877, age 38 years. So that was this man's wife right here. Okay. Jane Francis, wife of Elder John Clark, who is right beside her here, who died at Front Royal April 4th, 1876, in the 68th year of her age. So, Elder John Clark, born July 1804, fell asleep in Jesus November 9, 1882. I like this Bible at the top of the... This is neat. This is a neat design. Really like that. So we have a CSA here, but no stone. The stone may have sunk into the ground. See what could be a base here, maybe. No, it's just soft dirt. Well, James Clark died September 2, 1872, from a wound received by the hands of an assassin aged 28 years. Look at that. This man was murdered. You know, I think I might have read this man's story online. I'll have to dig around. I'll add to the notes if I find that. Murdered by the hands of an assassin. Interesting. Oh, here's one that's fallen over. This looks like a family plot, perhaps. M.M. Davis, Betty Davis, Irvin Davis, and Raymond Davis. And I count 1, 2, 3, and 4 stones here. So, all right. Let's move on to this back section here. Quite warm out today. Mrs. B. Byram, born 1860, died 1923. Very simple stone there. But this one is interesting in that these are ceramic plates. That's ceramic right there. It's been like inlaid into the stone. I wonder what that had on it at some point. Was there words? Were there pictures? I don't know. There's some words. I can feel the indentations here. There's words here, but I cannot make them out. Except perhaps B-Y-R-A-M, Byram, the name that's up there on the other stone. But I can't make that other name out. Maybe this will give it away, perhaps. Now again, that's completely unreadable. All right. This is a fairly recent one, 2013. Christine Conrad, buried in 2013. She showered those she loved with selfless kindness and support. We have rolls. We have some Stovers here. Davis, buried in 2010. 2003, Herschel Stover, Eugene Stover, 1977. William Rolls, 1976, and his wife Mary, also 1976. Clarence Rolls, 1959. Charles Sailor, U.S. Navy, World War II, 1925 to 1997. This one looks very interesting over here. Let's see what this is all about. like someone's built a little shrine here. I wonder, is that a stone? I can only see this cross here, the wooden cross, and then the metal. That's a metal cross. Doesn't seem to be anything written on it. Over here in the tree right beside it, there's a stone that's here in the tree that someone's taken care to take care of. Let's see, can we make anything out on that at all? Ruth Rain, 19. Gosh, that is, I want to say 36. That looks like 36 right there. I wonder if this was a child's grave. I don't know. But someone is taking care of it out here under this tree. It's wedged in here. Right, the tree's kind of growing right up through it. And I would bet that that stone and this little bench here are kind of tied together. That's what I would bet. All right, let's move on to this old section here in the back. That one, I'm not sure we're going to read that. I'm going to let it be seen in the video here in case anybody out there can read that. Back up just a little. That is almost impossible to see here. And over here, this is the one that I could see from a distance, and sure enough, this is our oldest burial here in memory of Elias Hoare, or Hoare, who died the 22nd of October 1820 in his 32nd year. So this man was born in what, 1788? 98? 88. My math is not good. So, and that stone is really, really holding up very well for having been etched in 1820. If you think about it, next year, in 1 year and a couple of months, this stone will be 200 years old, and that is completely readable. Didn't have to struggle at all to see that one. Let's see. This one is hard to read too here. I can make out the word died. 18 something. It's really, really fuzzy here, right in here. 70th year of her age. So a lady, female, who, yeah, I can make out 70th year, but that's about all. That's about all I can read from that. This looks like just a series of older stones here. I'm going to kind of work my way through them pretty quickly here. This one might be readable. Let's see. Sacred to the memory of, cannot read the name, Margaret maybe? And the dates, then everything fuzzes as it gets lower, it just gets worse and worse. Anyway, there it is on the video in case anybody can read that. Moving on. Sacred to the memory of Mary B. Hope, or no, Hoare, looks like, who died October 13th, 1844 in the 60th year of her age. Okay, another one that's quite old, 1844. Hoare, same name as the other one, the oldest one in here. That too is a Hoare. I can read the name over there, but this one fuzzes out. Can't read the dates. Same thing with this one back here. Can't read it. This one at least looks a little more hopeful. Died 1829, that looks like, 28 or 29. It's another Hore, H-O-R-E. 1829, 8 or 9, right there. Right there. Okay. All right. This old one right here is falling right over. I'm going to try and get down under this one, see if we can see anything there. I don't know. I see an 1823, but I don't know if that's born or died. And this stone looks like it's been broken here. There's some pieces probably missing from it. All right, here we have I see died, and I see what looks like 1834 in the 46th year of his age. That's otherwise it's washed out to time. Hard to read. See what we have here. Ford. Dr. James E. Ford. Born 1819, died 1873. That one I can't read. All right. So we are nearing the end. We have what looks like Bessie Moore, beloved wife of Horace C. Hudson, 1926. We have Fraser, Confederate States Army, another CSA soldier here, Company A, 9th Virginia Cavalry. James Fraser. Looks like there might have been a stone there at some point, but it's been removed for whatever reason. So a few more and we're going to be done. We're almost to the end of this. This looks like it's been taken care of. Heflins died 1944 and 1951, and someone has put some flowers out here somewhat recently. Those don't look like they're worn out. Again, some newer burials here. William Heflin, 1975. William and Nellie Heflin, 1965 and 1989. This also says Heflin here. Alfred Heflin, but I cannot read dates on that. But the fact that it's got the little lamb on it means this was probably a child. Probably an infant or a very young child. Shelton, 1843 and 1960. I'm sorry, 1943 and 1960. All right, a couple more out here in the middle. See, I think we looked at these. Cannot read that cross at all. Can't read it. It's completely blank as far as we can tell. This one says Earl Herndon, born 1892 and died 1912. And that may be his wife. Again, it's completely blank. And then over here we just have a footstone that says IAH. And this could be either a wife or a child, perhaps. Maybe that is the other, a wife or a child. These last few out here in the middle of the traffic circle. Very marshy, squishy out here. McCoys. John T. and Sarah Shelkett McCoy. Looks like he died 1905, she died 1880. Faithful unto death. George McCoy, son of Charles and L.V., died 1916. Leonard McCoy, son of Charles and L.V. McCoy, died December 30th, 1912. I can only read Maury, M-A-U-R-Y, at the top of that. Born in Balliol, May 8th, 1862, died in Virginia, June 8, 1893. Looks like 31 years old. And here are the last three in our tour of the Cedar Run Cemetery outside Quantico Marine Base. They all look like Clemens. William Jackson died in 1906, and his wife Catherine Bowling died in 1921. Clemens, Joseph M. and Francis E. He died 1950. She died 1982. Quite a difference there. Cornelius J. and Lydia B. He died 1964. She died 1973. Well, that, my friends, is the Cedar Run Cemetery right outside Quantico Marine Base. These bodies were reinterred here in 1941 and 42 from other cemeteries that were on the property that is now Quantico Marine Base. I hope this has been educational and fun for you. And now it's time to go get something cold to drink. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.